Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Think BRICS channel. This is a special broadcast as geopolitical tensions are spiking and markets are reacting in real time. Right now, we're going to cut through the noise with one of the world's sharpest forecasters. Again, Gerard Celente, thank you for joining us again to the show. And I want us to get straight to the point. So once again, we had a major U.S. military operation that was launched on Saturday night when Wall Street was closed, mind you. And today we're really feeling the aftershocks in the market as we see it's tumbling. Global stock indices are falling sharply with the stock 600 closing in 1.7%, Germany's DAX plunging 2.5%. Even Japan's Nikkei is lower 1.4%, and the Dow is under 500 points. Gerald, you have actually flagged this exact pattern in our January conversation referencing Venezuela. So, as someone who is tracking these trends before they break, what is your read on this market reaction?
They're going to rig the markets. They're going to do everything they can to keep them up. And you look what's going on with, as we're going on the air, energy prices, oil prices have skyrocketed some 45% in Europe. Before the markets opened in America today, gold prices are well over $200 an ounce. Now they're up only about $40 an ounce. The markets were down, like you said, 500. They changed. They went back into the positive at some levels. They're going to do everything they can to rig this market. And again, as you said, they did it on the weekend. This is from your Trends Journal that went out last Tuesday. It's a weekly magazine, as you know. And if they go to your site, they get by $2.50 a week. Trend forecast. Ready? This is our economic update. Tonight, President Trump will deliver his State of the Union address in the United States Capitol. According to a new Reuters Ipsos poll, 61% of Americans say that Trump has, quote, become erratic with age, end quote, which mentally means he's out of his mind. And I'm the same age as Trump. Has nothing to do with age. It has to do with who we are. But moving forward, we go on to say, making a bad situation worse, a Washington Post ABC News Ipsos poll released Sunday found that 47% strongly disapprove of the president's presidential performance and only 39% approve. And on the economic side of life, Trump's approval of the economy is 32%. And we go on to say what I always say, when all else fails, they take you to war. Therefore, with President Trump down in the polls and our forecast for equity markets and economic danger ahead, we are very concerned that the U.S. will ramp up war against Iran. If President Trump gives the order to attack Iran this weekend, it will likely be over the weekend when the equity markets are closed. Depending on the extent of such an attack, Brent crude and precious metals will spike when the markets open. There you got it.
Yeah, and to your point, we've seen that the crude oil prices have already increased $7 today per barrel, and it does not look to be stopping anytime soon. Meanwhile, we're seeing the gold futures jumping more than 1.5%, and the US dollar index rising also 1% here. And I want to get to, like you said, about this conflict. What economic concerns are press ahead if this conflict becomes prolonged? After all, Iran has stated multiple times that they're going to try to close the Strait of Hormuz, which is a huge energy pipeline for oil production in particular. But how will the economy react if this conflict drags on?
Again, you're calling it a conflict, and that's what the major media is calling it. It's not a conflict, it's a war. It's a war. And look at one of our top trends, which we put out in early January. We said that World War III will become official this year. This is serious. They're going to keep ramping up this war. Trump is now saying that the war may extend longer than he thought. But we're going to, quote, knock the crap out of Iran. They're saying it's going to extend. The Persians aren't going to give up. They're bombing. Israel's bombing the hell out of the place. Over 2,000 strikes from what I just read. They're going to keep this thing ramped up. And now you're looking at Merz, the new Heidi Merz over there in Germany, that we're only in 2 years of recession, but our economy grew 0.2% last year. And now we are going to borrow $1 trillion to build up our military because we have to stop those Russians. Oh, you only killed 27 million of them in World War II. Operation Barbarossa. Oh, our economy grew low by 0.2%, so we're borrowing $1 trillion. That little garçon Macron with a peck of the size of his pen, if he has one, ramping up their military spending. Look at the defense stocks all going up. Look at them. As the AI stocks are going down, defense stocks are going up. They're all building up their military. That little garçon Macron, that little nothing of a Starmer clown in the UK. How about throwing an FAU to see in that UK? They're all building up their military. This is not a conflict. World War III has begun. There's going to be a false flag event that, quote, makes it official. Here, I tell everybody, Google it up. Don't believe me, believe the facts. Again, when all else fails, they take you to war. Trump is failing. This is the guy that shot out the crap, by the way. Here, you ready? Can't make it up. But of course, if you're Trump, you can make anything up. When he's running for president, September 25th, 2024, we want to have peace on earth all over. October 12th, 2024, when he's running for president, we're going to have peace through strength. We will not have to fight. October 20th, 2024, I'm not going to start a war. I'm going to stop wars. Oh, you remember this one? If I were president, he would end the Ukraine war in 24 hours. And then when he got elected, hey, now that I'm elected, I'm going to end that war before I get inaugurated, all right? All right? This guy's ramping up this war. And there's going to be a false flag event. As I said, when all else fails, they take you to war. Now let's go back. The Great Depression's going on. Google it up. July 26, 1941. Yep, President Franklin Roosevelt seizes all Japanese assets in America. You know why? Those dirty Japanese invaded French Indochina. Wait a minute. French Indochina? Who the hell are you talking to? Shut the hell up, you little guinea wop from the Bronx. We're the French. All right? You got it? The French Foreign Legion were only in 22 countries in Africa. We're in Morocco. We're in Algeria. We're robbing, stealing, pillaging from Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia. It's French Indochina, you little bastard. The United States, the UK, where the sun never sets on the British Empire, and morons and imbeciles call these little freaks royalty, dressed up with their clown costumes and kissing their rings and rolling out the red carpet, where they're murdering people all over the world, and the Dutch East Indies. Dutch East Indies. What the hell are the Dutch doing in Indonesia? Shut the hell up. We're doing the same thing the British, the French are doing, and we're stealing, ravaging, pillaging. The United States, the UK, and the Dutch cut off 3/4 of Japanese foreign trade, stole their money, and cut off 88% of their imported oil. They only import 100%. Can't understand why they bombed Pearl Harbor a couple of months later. You got it? There's going to be a false flag attack that's going to unite the people to keep this war going. 80% of the people were against the United States getting involved in the European conflict that was war that was going on before World War II was officially announced. 80% were against it. Boop. Pearl Harbor happens. I'm a Yankee Doodle dandy. Yankee Doodle do or die. You got it? Go back to the dot-com bust. Oh, which we forecasted now at Trends Journal. Look it up, September 1999. We said it would bust by the second quarter of 2000. It did. March. What happened in 9/11? 9/11 happened. We're going to get that guy Osama bin Laden dead or alive. 90% of the people swallowed the crap coming in that little clown boy with a pair of cojones smaller than a mothball, little Georgie Bush if he has any at all. 90% of the people swallowed his crap. We went to war against Afghanistan, the longest war in American history, that we lost. There's going to be a false flag event. Call this the Ninth Crusade. You got it? They're going to teach everybody to hate the Muslims and the Islamists. It's going to happen. And the people will buy it.
And I really want to sort of get a lot deeper into the headlines of why the United States and Israel have launched strikes against Iran and sort of understand this timing. We've talked about before how the United States' interest in Venezuela because of Venezuela's massive reserves of heavy crude oil. But a lot of this is too thick to actually refine alone. It needs a sort of light crude, as sort of a blending agent, which Iran is highly specialized on and makes highly complex products to export to other countries. And for years, Iran has quietly been supplying Venezuela to keep their oil industry running. So, Gerald, in your opinion, do you see a lot of what's going on of United States' military posture less about ideology, or is it more so just pragmatically trying to secure oil production by any means necessary?
It's probably both of them. And again, these are crazy people. Israel, look at Netanyahu. He's glorified. He's been trying to do this for how many years? And they're bombing the hell out of it. Over 2,000 strikes from Israel so far in Iran. And now it's bombs away over Lebanon. And now they're slaughtering more people in Gaza. It's not even being reported. So yeah, it's about as I say, you think the United States would have invaded Iraq, Syria, and Libya if their major export was broccoli? And talking about lies and BS, how about the lies that they were saying with Trump, that the reason they were going to go after Venezuela because of the narco-terrorists? Remember that? Killing innocent people without bringing them to court for anything, and these little boats 1,500 miles away from America saying they're bringing in drugs. Then all of a sudden it becomes oil. So yeah, it definitely could become that. And again, here's the reality. America hasn't won a war since World War II. Again, I'm the same age as Trump. Vietnam War, I did everything, by the way, to beat the draft. Unlike him, he did everything to beat the draft, but he likes war. I launched a movement over a decade ago called Occupy Peace. I had major peace rallies, so it's not empty words. Haven't lost that one. Lost the Iraq War, lost the Afghan War. You're going to beat the Iranians? No way, no how. And here's my great worry again, is that they're going to go, Israel's going to lose. They're going to, and I'm worried about that, but they're going to go nuclear. They say that if they're going to lose, they have the Samson option, SAMSON, which means they have between 200 to 400 nuclear warheads. And if they go, and they're going to go nuclear, and I believe the United States is going to go nuclear too against Iran. Because there's no way the United States is going to beat them. Again, if they couldn't beat the Vietnamese, you couldn't beat the Iraqis, you couldn't beat the Afghans, you're going to beat the Persians? No way, no how. That's my greatest concern.
And and for Trump to constantly be calling out, his quotes and saying, "I'm a man of peace. I want to solve the Ukraine war in 24 hours." You know, and even citing issues of human rights issues in these nations as a means to step up these attacks. We can obviously see that Trump, says whatever he needs to get by, or says whatever he thinks he needs to keep his public, as far away from the administration really as possible. Do you see this attack sort of is this attack also supposed to divert our attention from a lot of turmoil within the administration, like the release of like the Epstein files, for example?
Absolutely. That's why I said when all else fails, they take you to war. I just read to you about the data. And here, you ready? An article in your Trends Journalist last weekend about Trump. Department of Justice to review withholding of Epstein files about Trump. Oh, this is from the there's your article in the Trends Journal. Covering for the Don. Epstein file release does not include entire claim leveled against Trump. All right? Here, New York Times. Epstein records admit full claim against Trump. How about that little guy, Billy Clinton over there? Remember him? Go and say, here, I did a T-shirt of Clinton when he ran. Before I show it to you, just to make this 1,000% clear, to me, it's not a government, it's a crime syndicate. And if you go to Trends Journal and shop, this is one of the shirts this is a shirt that we sell. Hey, politicians, who the F are you to tell me what to do? And here's the back of the shirt. This is a shirt that I did when Bill Clinton ran for office in 1992. Beware of Slick Willie. All right?
Oh, man.
I didn't have sex with that woman, Monica Lewinsky. She only sucked my... All right? A little ballless, arrogant boy of nobody that's now worth about $130 million, all right? Because I sold out America. I did away with the Glass-Steagall Act. I brought China into the World Trade Organization, sucked the jobs out of America, brought them to NAFTA. Every time I got caught with my pants down, it was bombs away over Baghdad. Love what you did to Yugoslavia, Serbia. Hey, don't you know who I am? I'm another draft dodger, ballless bastard that loves war. All right? That's who's running a country near you. And you can get these mugs at Trends Journal, too. Oh, look at that little Gatson Macron. He couldn't fight his way out of a paper bag. How he loves war. Starmer. Mertz. Could you get a freakier little jerk off than that guy? One after another. It's a freak show, and the freaks are running the show in a country near you. So, yeah, they're hiding this stuff because of the Epstein files. Look at this stuff going on. Look at these guys. Look at one after another. Gates. It's Bard College right across the river over here. I'm in Kingston, New York, right across the river near Rhinebeck. Look at this guy Botstein. You look at Gates. You look at these guys. As we'd say in the Bronx, these guys couldn't get laid with a fistful of $10 bills in a whorehouse. Now it's $100 bills. They got to get paid to get laid. All right? Look at the crime syndicate. This is global. Global. The little jerk off over there in the UK just got thrown out. The clown over there in France. Oh, the guy that had the world. What was it? That thing they just have. what is it called? Where all the rich people got together a couple of weeks ago. The World
Davos?
Economic Forum. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that guy got thrown out. Look at these guys. Look at these guys. They're hiding this information. It is a freak show, and the freaks are running the show. That's why they're ramping up this war. It's going to be all forgotten. All forgotten. Again, when all else fails, they take you to war.
Yeah, and one more question, Gerard, just because a lot of our viewers are asking about this. So we're talking about these strikes and sort of the chaos that we're seeing in the Middle East right now, and talking about how it could be used to secure themselves, both within their administration, but also to divert attention away from the populace in the United States. Do you think there is a legitimate risk of explosive domestic revelations from this combination of attacks to holding down people's people's truth on the Epstein files, as well as many pressures they're dealing with day to day?
They're going to hold back everything. Look who's just taking over the media in America. This guy Ellison, a pro-Zionist, not my words, theirs, brought in this Barry Weiss to run CBS, pro-Zionist. Oh, now he's going to own CNN, the Cartoon News Network. Look at the money AIPAC is spending to put in all the people in the government. They're getting to people's minds. I'm telling you, there's going to be a false flag event that's going to, quote, make this war official. And the people will buy it. Same thing's going to happen in Ukraine. Look at the money. Look at the money as Europe's economy is going down. There was an article in the Wall Street Journal last week about how the people in Europe can't afford an apartment. All right? Can't afford an apartment. But hey, we could send billions and billions and billions and hundreds of billions of dollars to keep the war going over there in Ukraine. We got to stop them Russians, all right? Again, this is your Trends Journal magazine, and it was a quarterly. Now it's a weekly. See how happy that guy is? 2014. The United States overthrow of the democratically elected government of Viktor Yanukovych in Ukraine, with Victoria Nuland of scum, that was the Assistant Secretary of State, making a speech in 2013 in D.C. that the United States has just sent $5 billion to non-governmental organizations in Ukraine to teach democracy. All right? People have no idea the United States overthrew the government, the Azovs, the Nazi group that did it in Ukraine, and how they slaughtered over 15,000 Russian people in the Donbass region in Ukraine. No idea about this. But they hate Russia. And we've been taught to hate Russia and Iran all our lives. Here, when I was a kid, by the way, they had us hiding under a desk in case an atom bomb went off, dropped by the Russians. Like that was going to make a difference. And as a kid, I was scared to death. Every time I saw an airplane, I was afraid a bomb would drop. Anyway, this is one of my books. Trend Tracking. Far better than Megatrends, Time Magazine. I wrote about how I became a trend forecaster. And it was about the Iran war. And where the hell is it here? But anyway, it's in. And I was in D.C. at the time. I was the number 2 guy running a major trade association. And the Iran conflict started breaking out. And that's when I became a political atheist and started investing in gold and oil futures. And I turned a $5,000 bet into almost more than $750,000. And it goes on, let me see on the page over here. I don't know where the hell it is. But anyway, it's about how I got, the Iran thing was going on. They taught us to hate Iran without anybody knowing that the United States, here it is, the Iran crisis. Oops. I told you how I started tracking trends during the Iranian crisis of 1979, and I'll use that as a simple model. Trend tracking, I was following the political trend in Iran, and I was also following the trend about the ability to make the world conform to our image, which had become evident in Vietnam. And so, anyway, for projecting the political trend in Iran into the future, I expected that the Shah would fall. Because he was our boy, I could see that this would raise further doubts about the viability of Pax Americana. People had no idea the United States and the UK's overthrow of the officially elected president of Iran, Mossadegh, in 1953. No idea about it at all. And how, again, you could look it up. Kermit Roosevelt, who was Theodore Roosevelt's grandson, and Winston Churchill telegraphs back and forth saying they had to overthrow Mossadegh because of the oil. Mossadegh had the nerve to say that this oil in Iran belongs to the Iranian people, not Anglo-Iranian oil, better known today as BP, or Standard Oil, better known today as ExxonMobil. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It belongs, again, we talked about oil before. Same thing then. They overthrew the government, brought in the Savak, the secret police that made the SS look good. Violent Shah. So when the revolution started happening, I knew it was real. And the reason that little clown boy that people look up to, little peanut balls, Jimmy Carter, peanut farmer. This is when I became a political atheist. He comes back from visiting the Shah and his wife on New Year's Eve. And he says the Shah is the island of stability in the Middle East. In the Bronx, we used to say bullshit has its own sound. And that's when I changed my life and looked at the whole thing differently and became a trend forecaster. Again, I started buying gold and oil back then, gold futures. And I think my first buy of gold in the 78 was like 160 something dollars an ounce. As we're on the air now, it's about 5,300 and change. So people have no idea about this, but they taught us to hate Iran, the people that took over, and they're doing it again. So people have no idea of the facts. They're going to buy the lies. And again, you're looking at all of Europe. All of Europe is except with Spain, are supporting Israel and the United States. And they're all condemning Iran, but none of them are condemning Israel for its genocide. None of them. None of them. Gabish.
Yeah. Gerald Celente, thank you so much for your amazing insights. You're always ahead of the curve. I think I speak for our entire audience, thanking you so much for joining us again today. For everyone still watching, please be sure to go to thetrendsjournal.com and check out Gerald Celente's The Trends Journal, highly recommend, as well as his published books, which you can also find on the website itself. Thank you again, Gerald, for joining us again on Think BRICS. And stay tuned, everybody. We'll be breaking down what this means for the Global South right after this.